Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's Natural Solutions Workshop. My name is Jules, for those of you who don't know me. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk about before we get started, because I want to make sure that you guys all know how to navigate in here as we proceed. So first of all, it's really, really helpful for you to have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen so that you can write down any questions or comments that you might have. You can also pop those in the chat because we have several people here who can help answer questions or reply to comments. But if it gets missed, you want to have that written down so that you can go back to whoever invited you here tonight and you can get your question or your comment addressed. So make sure you have that pen, piece of paper, pencil, whatever, so that you can write those things down. Secondly, we want to do our best to honor your time tonight. This workshop will be anywhere from about 40 to 60 minutes long. And we do have a script that we try and follow to keep us on track. And I will willingly admit I'm one of the very worst ones for going rogue. So I'm going to do my best to keep myself reined in and on script. And I also want you guys to all stay on until the very, very end, because we have a couple of ebooks that we give to you at the very, very end that are really, really helpful in learning how to use these products that we're talking about tonight and to get the most out of them. So you're going to want to stay on for the drawing. If you're not here at the end, you don't get entered into the drawing. So stay on until the very end. And then the last thing that I want to do before we jump in is that I want you all to familiarize yourself with the chat feature. For some of you, that's going to be at the top of your Zoom screen. Some it's going to be at the bottom, but find that chat feature, jump into it, introduce yourself, let us know who invited you here, where you're coming in from, what the weather's like, just those kind of basic things so that we know who is here and who we're talking to. So for those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name is Jules. I am in sunny Discovery Bay, California. My backyard is a bay, and most times at this time of the night, I'm out there floating on the bay, and that's how I wind down my day. So I'm here tonight, and I did not get a float in, so that's how my day has gone. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I want you to take a look at this slide that's on the screen right now. And I want you to, we want these workshops to be really personal for you, and we want them to make sense to you. So let's start with a personal assessment for you and or your family or friends that you know even. And then take a look at that slide. You'll see that each little picture is numbered. I want you to comment in the chat. Here's where you're going to use that chat feature again. Comment in the chat and let us know which one or two or three of those are something that you have challenges with, somebody in your family does, or maybe a friend does. Let us know what those are. For me, it's always been, every time I've even looked at this, it's always been headaches, pain, and inflammation. I don't get headaches, but I do have pain and inflammation in my body. And then the other one has been sleep. I've gotten my sleep dialed in, but the pain and inflammation is still there for me. So there's always a number 2 there for me. And you might want to just jot that down on your paper too, just so you can remember what it is that we're talking about. So we'll look at 2 different approaches here tonight. We'll look at the modern approach and the natural approach. I want to start out with some facts about the modern approach first. The US consumes 75% of the world's prescription drugs, yet we only make up about 5% of the world's population. That is a really sobering number or fact to me. Second one is that every 19 minutes, someone in the US has died from an accidental overdose of a prescription med. Again, that's mind-boggling to me. Every 19 minutes, that's happening. And then the last little fact I want to throw in here is that our FDA estimates that 200,000 Americans are hospitalized each year because of overdoses and negative side effects of really common things that we don't even think about. Things like Advil and Motrin and ibuprofen, all that over-the-counter stuff that we just go and grab. 200,000 of us are hospitalized because of those things every single year. So these products are also the cause of thousands of deaths per year. Even Tylenol, which we are encouraged to use for our babies, even Tylenol is known to cause liver damage if it's used in excess. So all of these facts, and then this last little number, this little point that I want to talk about is that we spend $6.5 trillion globally every single year on healthcare. Yet, are we any healthier? I think we have to ask ourselves that question. With the modern approach, we're programmed to use those over-the-counter pills, excuse me, prescriptions, and we're programmed to address anything that goes on, any physical symptom, with basically a Band-Aid, with one of those products, not to get to the root cause of them. So with the root cause, we focus on what is happening that is causing that symptom. And when we do that, we have a much better chance of really supporting the body to do what it does best, which is to heal. So we're going to look at the natural approach, and we're going to talk about natural tools that we can use that are going to address root causes, and they're going to help us. And they're going to come from plant sources because our body knows what to do with plants because we're created from nature. You know, our bodies know how to use plant sources. So let's talk about what creates disease or dis-ease in the body. There are three main factors that cause that. Number one is nutrient deficiency. Number two is that inflammation piece. And number three is toxic overload. So how that factors out, or how we see that show up in nutrient deficiencies, is this slide is going to show us that. I'm going to call your attention to a couple of things here. Nutrition is the source for, or at the core of our immune function. If our immune function is at its highest, then our nutrition is on point. And when our foundation in nutrition is really strong, we're functioning optimally. Our body is functioning optimally. We have energy, we think more clearly, our mood is better, we get better sleep, and we have little to no inflammation. So the environmental working group, I'm going to call your attention to the slide now. The environmental working group put together the information on this chart. And I'm just going to pull three numbers off of there that I want you to think about. 95% of US adults are deficient in vitamin D. 94% of us are deficient in vitamin E, and 61% are deficient in magnesium. So what this data shows us is that our nutritional foundation isn't strong enough. It shows us that most Americans don't have great baseline health. And we know that based on these numbers, and because these deficiencies show up, and they show up as inflammation, headaches, trouble sleeping, foggy thinking, lack of energy, digestive issues, and more. So that's why we had that first slide up there, to have you put which number is kind of where you land, where you have those challenges. Because these all hit home for pretty much every single one of us. Poor nutrition is the number one cause of poor health. So nutrition needs to be dialed in. Second part of that piece of this, what causes dis-ease, is inflammation. So we know that chronic inflammation is linked to many, many, many diseases, some of which are listed there on the slide. I'm not going to read each one. So if you want to have that, screenshot it so that you can look back at it. One of the biggest contributors to too much inflammation in the body is something we probably don't think about, but it's sugar. And it's hidden in nearly every single product we consume now, particularly in processed foods. Second trigger for too much inflammation in the body is another one that we may or may not think about, and that is industrial oils, things like vegetable oil, palm oil, corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, all of those oils that are sitting on our grocery store shelves. And all of those are loaded in processed foods. Processed foods are loaded with those and sugar, some of the worst contributors to inflammation in the body. Another contributor to that is toxins in our environment. And then kind of maybe not the last piece, but another piece that I'm going to talk about here tonight is stress and lack of sleep. Those things all are that second cause of disease in the body. They all feed into us having too much inflammation in our body. The third piece is toxic load. So this can get confusing for people, but really, to simplify it, what it is that this refers to the chemicals that build up in our body from our environment, from processed foods, from pesticide use, from our personal care products, from the candles that are in our house, or the wall plugins that are in our house. Those things all can cause toxic overload. Our Product Safety Commission actually tested and found 150 cleaning chemicals that are linked to ADD, asthma, cancer, reproductive problems, respiratory challenges, and more. So we can't always control what we come into contact with outside of our home, but we definitely can make smarter choices as to what we bring into our home and what we are putting on us, in us, and around us. We can make way smarter choices. So now that I've given you all of this information and gotten your wheels turning, I'm going to turn this over to my friend Ani, and she's going to introduce you all to our very first product that can help us build that nutritional foundation. So Ani, this is off to you.
Thank you so much, Jules. Okay, so now let's take a look at our next health solution, or our first health solution. And before we do that, let's go to the chat feature. And if you can let me know if you take any kind of supplement, maybe a vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B, or a multivitamin or an omega. You can put it in the chat and share with us. We'd really appreciate it. I see here LLV and many others. LLV, yeah. Vitamin D3K, turmeric. I take deep blue polyphenol. I do some stuff for inflammation as well, and I take LLV as well. Okay, great. So let's take a quick peek at the supplement industry. I'm glad we're all taking supplements. So a study by the FDA from 2007 to 2016 detected contaminants in 776 dietary supplements produced by 146 companies. Another study that we looked at of 3 leading memory supplements found that 2 of them didn't even contain the active ingredients listed on the label. The supplements industry is not heavily regulated. Products can contain lots of fillers and not much of the ingredients listed. So if you have any kind of reservations as to whether a product would work for you or not, this information can support your concerns. I want to tell you a story from a fellow wellness advocate whose son works in a health store. He told his mother that when a supplement on the shelf is tested and found to be missing an active ingredient listed on the label, the store has up to 9 months to remove that product from the shelf. That is very concerning. Our standard American diet is deficient in most vitamins and nutrients. It is necessary to supplement to make sure to get our body what it needs to function properly. So let's make sure we're using safe and effective supplements. And let's go on to our first health solution. doTERRA is known for its safe and effective oils. But did you know that LLV, Lifelong Vitality Supplements, are doTERRA's best-selling product because they are effectively address all 3 diseases areas we just mentioned: nutrient deficiency, inflammation, and toxic overload. Think of LLV, this line, as the necessary foundation of our health house. This helps support our cleansing and filtering out of toxins. There are 3 of the supplements in this line, as we could see: the food nutrient, the cellular repair, and our omegas. This line is our micronutrient line. Lifelong Vitality fills the nutrient buckets in our body. It contains powerful antioxidants to help protect our DNA. It's made with whole food ingredients, and it is 95% bioavailable for your body. The average supplement is 20 to 30% bioavailable. This product has gotten more people off their over-the-counter and prescription drugs more than any other doTERRA product that's sold. I'd like to invite, I think Leslie's on. Leslie, if you can join us and give us a testimony on your LLV experience, I'd really appreciate that.
Sure, thanks, Ani. In December, I wasn't taking LLV. I go to a doctor who's a medical doctor, but he's also a holistic doctor, and he thinks outside the box, and he does a great job with me. Awesome job. But he was giving me some supplements, and I had something in December. I don't know what it was even to this day, and neither does he. So what happened was I had back pain from the middle of my back all the way up through my shoulders, and the back pain was excruciatingly painful to where I could not lay in bed for 4 days. I had to sleep in a recliner. So when I went to my doctor, he says, Leslie, we need to take a blood test. I said, okay. Took a blood test, results came back, and we talked about inflammation. My inflammation was through the roof, and they can test that by your C-reactive protein. Your C-reactive protein should be between 1 and 3. Mine was at 300. My D-dimer, which indicates clotting in your body, was super high. White cell count, super high. I mean, just things were, I've never had anything like that before. And then there were things that were low, and there were things that were okay. So as time went on, things really weren't improving much. And he said, I need you to go see a specialist. I need you to see a hematologist. And I said, okay. So the hematologist said, before she comes in, she needs another blood test. Well, I was going in for blood tests like every 2 to 3 weeks, and things weren't getting much better. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I decided to start LOV. And I'd been on it about a week and a half, and another blood test, and things may have gotten just a tad better. I mean, just a little teeny bit better. And I thought, all right, that's better than nothing. So at that same point that I took that blood test, some of the blood work that the lab was supposed to do, they did incorrectly, so we didn't get any results. So I had to take another blood test on top of that, which was not fun, because I was taking between 9 and 11 vials of blood each time I went in. So the next time I had a blood test, been about 6 weeks since I started using LLV. And this is the only thing I changed, by the way. I didn't change anything else. At the 6-week point, he took another blood test. This time I went in his office to see him. He took other tests in the office, and I received my results. And then he came in and looked at those results and the results of the tests he took. And he said, Leslie, I don't know what happened, but all of your tests are normal. Every single test. He said, and the tests I took here, he says, it's like you're a new person. And I went, whoa. So, as I said, the only thing I changed was LLV. It obviously helped my body heal, and that healing process, because your body can heal with the right nutrients and the right supplements and the right foods and exercise and everything else that you do to reduce your inflammation. So I would say anyone who's out there who thinks you're on the fence about LLV, give it a shot, see what it can do for you. It may take longer. It may take a shorter amount of time. I would give it at least 3 months or so. There you go. So Ani, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you. That's great. That is awesome. Definitely, it did wonders for you, but I know that for me, when I don't take it, I realize like the energy and a lot of the stuff. That's when I realized the problem. So, okay, let's go ahead. Thanks again. So let's go ahead to our next slide. Sarah, if you could do the next slide, thank you. So you'll see some interesting statistics here on the slide, the 60-day clinical trial. These clinical trials are based on blood work taken before and after subjects took doTERRA Lifelong Vitality supplements for about 2 months, while continuing their normal diet and exercise habits. The difference that can be experienced when you begin taking bioavailable nutrient-dense supplements like LLV. Yes. So I consider the LLV part of my food budget and would urge you to do the same. It's less than a cup of coffee at a Starbucks or at your favorite coffee shop. If you purchase it through our customer rewards program, which is on our LRP, you're also going to get some points to get future products. So that's how I get I think most everyone will get their LLV that way. So to focus on our gut health, specifically lifelong vitality with PB Restore and Terrazyme is our highest recommendation. So the gut plays a vital role in our overall health and well-being, often called our second brain. The gut is vital in everything from our weight to our immune function and to our mental wellness. The PB Restore complex is patented dual capsule delivery system. It is unique formulation of 30, pre, pro, and postbiotics that help restore microbial diversity and balance for optimal health. With its unique dual encapsulation delivery system, it protects the sensitive probiotic cultures from stomach and delivering it safely and effectively into our gut. 18 billion colony-forming units, CFUs, of probiotics or good bacteria consists of 24 active cultures. Carefully selected strains of 22 different species for exceptional microbial diversity, maintains healthy intestinal microflora balance. It supports our healthy digestive and immune system function, as well as our GI tract, and specifically our intestines and colon. Supports optimal metabolism and food absorption. In simple terms, when you have a healthy microbiome with good bacteria, the bad bacteria has a harder time doing its dirty work. Terrazyme is doTERRA's digestive enzyme, and it includes a variety of whole food enzymes that help with digestion. It can be taken with every single meal. I take it morning, midday, with lunch and dinner. I never skip it with dinner because it supports my digestive system. Healthy digestion and metabolism and conversion of food nutrients to cellular energy. It also promotes gastrointestinal comfort and food tolerance. And it has 10 active food enzymes. There we go. I'm going to next invite my friend Tracy so she can go over our next topic, MetaPWR.
Thanks, Ani.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're heading into the second section of our workshop, and I want to make sure you're with me. So find your chat feature. And what percentage has diabetes increased during the 1960s? %. 99. More than we want to know. Yeah, 700%. Yeah, isn't that scary? And how long does it take the average American to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors from 200 years ago would consume in a year? 30 days? 20? 1 week? Okay. It only takes 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's pretty scary. I wished it was a year. Okay, next slide. Thank you. Only 6.8% of the population have optimal cardiometabolic health. That means that 93% of Americans do not have optimal cardiometabolic health. We've already discussed the challenges that we face when we're not functioning optimally. So let's dive into some solutions. So here we have the MetaPWR system, which was specifically designed to tackle poor cardiometabolic health. This is your macronutrient line. It pairs beautifully with Lifelong Vitality, our micronutrient line. The MetaPWR line does 3 things. It addresses cellular repair that leads to aging. It addresses blood sugar regulation and supports the inhibiting of fat absorption into your cells. So let's talk about your lifespan and your health span. While we can't do anything about our chronological age, which is our lifespan, we can do something about our metabolic age, which is our health span. Did you know that the average American spends the last 14 years of their life in a state of declining health with difficulty completing everyday tasks? What if we could be empowered to change that? What if we can write a different story for ourselves? The MetaPWR system is the first and only system that synergistically supports a healthy metabolism, curbs your cravings, sustains normal range glycemic and insulin response evenly throughout the day, and it naturally promotes your cellular energy. Those using this line have reported improvements in eyesight, energy, pain, neuropathy, sleep, skin and hair growth, mood, and mobility and strength, which causes the body to build muscle. Before we get into too many details of MetaPWR, let's look at a few of the benefits in these before and afters. Take a look at the young lady on the top. She's been using MetaPWR for 4 months. She's had amazing results, specifically with improvements on her face, her eyes, and hair. Now, look at the grumpy gentleman on the bottom left. He experienced improved skin elasticity, darker hair growth. He got his blood work taken after 3 weeks on MetaPWR, and it showed a 40-point decrease in his cholesterol, 25-point decrease in his LDL, and 57-point decrease in his triglycerides. Now, on the right side, you see a 58-year-old woman who has red spots on her arms. Anytime she bumped herself, they would appear. Doctors biopsied and said it's just what happens when you get older. After using MetaPWR for just 3 months, the spots were totally gone. And she also had a 60-pound weight loss, thicker hair, her nails were growing, and she had a lower A1C. Now, here's one of my favorite of the MetaPWR products. It's the MetaPWR Advantage. This is doTERRA's collagen. Unlike any other on the market, this product includes 9 types of collagen, over 70% tripeptides, so your body absorbs it 12 times more than any other collagens. A peptide is simply a large protein chain, too large for your body to break down and use for its full benefit. When it's broken down into tripeptides, simply smaller protein chains, excuse me, the body can absorb and utilize them in their entirety. Advantage comes in small packets with freeze-dried collagen and other nutrients to mix with 4 to 6 ounces of cold water. MetaPWR Advantage promotes healthy biological aging and improves health span by helping aging cells. It activates longevity genes. It improves your cognitive function. It supports lean muscle and connective tissue. It improves skin density, elasticity, and firmness. If you love science and knowing how and why these products work, ask your wellness advocate to send our deep dive recordings for lifelong vitality and MetaPWR. And Jules, do you want to give your testimony on MetaPWR?
I'd love to. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, you guys, I'm going to make this story as short as I can, but way back in 1998, I had something that happened to my body. I called it derailed. I just found myself lying in bed, unable to move because I was in so much pain. And it, long story shorter, took me almost 2 years to come out of that. I went to the Mayo Clinic. I spent a lot of time in a lot of different doctors' office having a lot of different tests. And they finally decided that I had a pretty severe reaction and an autoimmune disease. So when I left the Mayo Clinic, the last thing that the head doc there told me was, we don't really know how to treat this. It's pretty slippery. So if you have other things that you want to do and natural ways that you want to try, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because what I give you may or may not help you. It's just, we just never really know. It's like a crapshoot with every patient that we get. And so I left and went on a real search as to how to support my body as best I could naturally, because I didn't want to be on long-term meds. And what happened was, it took me on a really long journey of what at that point in time really was kind of biohacking. Now it's a cool term that everybody uses, but I started way back in 1998 and early 2000 just trying to figure out how I could support my body. One of the things that I was always looking at was a collagen, because I knew that we lost the ability to make that as we aged. And I was always looking for the next best collagen product. So fast forward a number of years later, decades later, and doTERRA in 2022 introduces MetaPWR Advantage, the collagen that you're seeing on your screen right there. This has 9 different types of collagen in it. Most collagen products, even though they're targeted to kind of rebuild things, they're targeted toward hair, skin, and nails. And I needed something to help my joints. I needed something to help my connective tissues. I needed something to help my ligaments, my tendons, my muscles, all those things, because that's where I was having the major problems. So I was super excited when doTERRA launched this. And the day they launched it, which was September 15th, 2022, I got my kit. I opened it up that day at convention, sitting in the big auditorium. I dumped it in a bottle of water and I downed it. And I've been taking 2 of them a day ever since then. And I've not missed. I always have it with me. I always take it. And it has helped me so much. I use the word exponentially, but I'll tell you, I have so much more freedom of movement. I am back to working out. I've always been an athlete. I've always worked out. And there was a long period that I couldn't do anything. I couldn't ride a bike. I couldn't run. I couldn't lift weights. I couldn't do anything because everything I did just made me so miserable. And this has literally given me my life back. So I will never, ever, ever be without this collagen product. It is incredible. And I recommend everyone to use it. If you're over the age of 25, you should be taking this product, in my opinion.
Thanks, Jules. Okay, we're changing direction now and heading down the road to oils. doTERRA is mostly known for their essential oils, so we need to look at why they lead the world in this area, and I'm handing it over to my friend Lori.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori, and I'm really excited to share how doTERRA essential oils are extra special. This subject is near and dear to my heart because doTERRA sourcing is why I fell in love with the company, and I'm here today to share results from this Roseman's University independent study that was done. doTERRA's oils were found in this study to be therapeutically relevant in cell growth and rejuvenation, metabolic health, and healthy inflammatory responses. Essential oils from different competitors showed minimal effects. They concluded that therapeutic potential of essential oils is highly dependent on the complete composition of the oil. Sourcing, processing, and characterization are all very critical. So what is the doTERRA difference? The doTERRA difference is when an oil is truly pure, they do not include fillers. There's no fillers. There's no synthetics, no additional ingredients, and there's no dilution. Independent lab tests have shown that the majority of brands available to all of us aren't pure at all. We can post a link to the study at the end of the class if you're interested. doTERRA sources their oils from plants grown in their ideal environments. This makes all the difference for the chemicals profile and the therapeutic effectiveness of the oil. That's what makes them so unique. Every batch of doTERRA oil is tested for ideal chemistry and consistency so that our oils do what we expect them to do. There are over 54 tests done on each batch of doTERRA oils. They start at way before the farmer to the consumer. For instance, lavender, when we look at a bottle of our pure lavender, it's just one type of lavender. But doTERRA has done the extra research to find out the most effective lavender to use. So it actually does exactly what doTERRA says it to do. Our doTERRA oils can be used topically, aromatically, and generally internally. People do turn to doTERRA because, in fact, that's exactly why I did, is because they're safe, they're affordable, and effective solutions to all of our family's health. Let's look at what that means exactly. Many of us look for safe and effective solutions that don't have dangerous side effects or the risk of addiction, which Jules talked about earlier, how so many people are addicted to medications. So we're looking for alternatives here. We just mentioned that independent lab tests show that 80 to 90% of oils on the market have contaminants and synthetic markers. We suggest never ingesting another brand. This is why doTERRA recognized that the essential oil industry didn't have a standard for purity that ensured this safety. So they created a new standard called the CPTG, which means Certified Pure Tested Grade, to raise the bar throughout the whole essential oils industry. This standard is beyond organic and includes significant testing that isn't cheap. doTERRA invests to ensure that we have the most effective, safest product because that is what's best for you. That's why we come to doTERRA. Many doTERRA's oils are safe to ingest. If it can be ingested, it will have a food grade label on the bottle. And this is what that food label bottle looks like. You're going to see it actually has supplemental facts on it. Let's look at the picture on the screen of the little girls. This could happen to anyone who is thinking that all oils are like doTERRA. But this is what happened. These two sisters were spending the night at their grandmother's house. They were used to putting on the doTERRA lavender oil on their chest just before they went to bed to help them relax and go to sleep. Grandma was out of the doTERRA lavender. She used a backup from another company in her cabinet that she bought at the health food store and figured it's lavender, so it should work. The girls ended up with chemical burns with scars for almost a year. I'm not saying that all of this would happen if you used any essential oil, but this is how important it is that you understand the risks of using oils that have not been tested like our doTERRA oils. doTERRA oils are safe for use at any age, from newborn babies to great grandparents. Brand really matters for safety. Let's look at the affordability and effectiveness next. Believe it or not, affordability is one reason people do turn to doTERRA. Oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. This means a little goes a long way. Let's look at this. Using the chat feature, I want you to make a guess. A recent test of Costco peppermint oil showed that it was not 100% peppermint oil. How much peppermint is in the Costco peppermint oil bottle? Does anybody know? Anybody have any ideas? 10 drops, 25%, 10%, 25 drops. It's about 10%. When you use doTERRA oil, you get 100% of the oil, making it actually much cheaper than any other oil options that may be diluted. Some fun facts about affordability. Each 15 ml bottle has 250 drops of essential oils in it. One dose is only 1 to 2 drops. On average, it's about $1 or less for each treatment. Here's an essential oil tip. When you are addressing an ailment, it is always better to use less oil more frequently. For example, 1 drop of oil on a wound every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day is much more effective than using 8 drops of oil on a wound at one time. Use less more frequently. Let's look at the effectiveness. For our scientists in this workshop, we know this is a very simplified lesson. So here we go. Our body is made up of many cells. Each one is surrounded by an oily membrane. So if you can kind of look at that picture and you can see how there's a cell there, there's this oily membrane that covers the outside of it. It keeps the good in the cell and the bad out. And when we get a bacterial infection, what actually happens is that bacteria is attacking that cell. An antibiotic will help because the bacteria grows on the outside of the cell, whereas viruses are different and they proliferate on the inside of the cell. Unlike most modern medicine, essential oils can penetrate the cell membrane. Remember that membrane we were talking that was on the outside? So it penetrates through the membrane and helps stop the duplication of a virus and supports your immune system simultaneously. When you have essential oils on hand, you have effective tools to begin supporting your body immediately instead of waiting to see a doctor. And sometimes you can't even get into the doctor. So it's really important that we have them at our house. And they also save you money on copays as well. Now we're going to be talking about immunosupport, and I'm going to be turning the slides over to Leslie.
Thanks, Lori. Lori started you through the journey of essential oils, and I'm going to continue that journey with telling you about categories of essential oils. And one of those categories is for the immune system or the immune support. So we have oregano, tea tree, on guard, and frankincense. And there are 4 oils that really do support the immune system. And in this keychain, I keep those oils and many other oils. So if I need them at a moment's notice, when I'm out and about, I have something to help me. And one of my favorites in the immune support system is On Guard. So let's talk a little bit about it. On Guard is really the protector oil. It's the immune defense oil. It stops the growth of viruses and bacteria. When diffused, it cleans the air of airborne pathogens. It soothes sore throats and can just help knock it out, especially if you take like a couple of drops in some warm water and gargle with it. Good stuff. And The key is to use it more frequently and consistently. So if you use it consistently and more frequently, you'll do a better job than if you don't. Now let's go on to the medicine cabinet basics, such as lavender, lemon, peppermint, digestin, and breathe. Imagine a medicine cabinet filled with safe and effective oils without addictive properties or side effects that will have you ready at a moment's notice to address life's little emergencies. Here are but a few of the cabinet basics. Again, in my keychain, I have breathe. And we're going to talk about breathe. Breathe is a respiratory oil. It will help you with everything respiratory, from sinus infections to asthma to snoring and congestion. It can help with that nagging cough and difficulty breathing, and it will also clear the congestion so it can help you breathe better. When you diffuse it at night, it supplies a more restful sleep, and it also can help with those people who snore. So if you find yourself as a snorer, diffuse breathe at night. And you can also use it before a workout to open airways and increase your stamina. What I like to do is I take a bottle of breathe and I put a drop in the palm of my hand and I rub my palms together. And then I'm going to cut my hands over my nose to make a diffuser, a hand diffuser. And I'm going to breathe the oil in. Sorry, that was my door. I'm going to breathe the oil in. I'm going to breathe it out. I'm going to do that 3 times. It really opens the passages of your sinuses. And if you do it and you make an inhaler and you breathe in, and do it 3 times, it really does help with the congestion in the throat area, and it helps clear that congestion. Just a few tips for you. Now let's look at pain and inflammation. We learned at the beginning of this workshop the impact of how inflammation is the cause of disease. doTERRA has safe, effective, and non-addictive tools. The oils and products on the screen are some favorites to address pain and inflammation. So you see our entire deep blue line, and you also see copaiba. Deep blue is a must-have for muscle and joint health. Not only does it relieve pain and tension, the amazing oils in it support muscle, joint, and bone healing. It alleviates back pain. When you have a nasty bruise forming, grab your deep blue to stop it in its tracks. I had a really bad bruise on my elbow about a few weeks ago. When I was going in and out with boxes, I had the interior of my home painted, and I had to take boxes in, and I accidentally hit my elbow on the door jamb, and a nasty bruise formed. And I put deep blue on it, and sure enough, it really helped heal it. And the deep blue stick has copaiba in it. It's easy to apply, and you don't even need to get it on your hands. So looking at copaiba, that is our anti-inflammatory for pain and inflammation. It's super anti-inflammatory. When you layer it with another oil, it increases its effectiveness. When you really need to boost pain relief, this is what you're going to use with your deep blue. If you ever suffer from any emotional strains such as anxiety or depression, this oil can calm and soothe. It supports all major body systems, including your heart, your nerves, your respiratory, your immune, and your skin. Can also really be helpful with those who have ADD or ADHD, and it's our CBD replacement. Moving on to our last section, which is mood and emotional support, and there we have balance, adaptive, and serenity. Those of you who indicated at the beginning that you or someone in your family deals with heightened emotions or those low lows, these are great options to consider. Again, in my keychain, I
Michelle?
have Serenity. Serenity is very calming and helpful for sleep. It may help you fall asleep more easily and sleep more deeply. It also is very helpful for anxiety and stress. I love to use doTERRA Serenity during the day, and I use it topically, and I use the Serenity at night when I sleep in my diffuser with other oils. So it really does help keep me asleep at night, and I sleep more deeply. We have learned some powerful things about essential oils just now. This is truly the tip of the iceberg when it comes to supporting your physical and emotional health. Now I'd like to turn this back to my good friend, Jules. Jules, take it away.
Oh my gosh, Leslie, thanks so much. Thanks for
Oh, you're
sharing.
welcome.
Those. You picked oils that I love to talk about too. So thanks for doing that. All right. I know that I am probably no different than a lot of you that are sitting here. When I first looked at doTERRA, I felt like, yeah, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm just not interested. It's one of those things. I don't want any part of it. But then I got introduced to this little bottle of deep blue oil. And that oil changed the trajectory of my life and of my profession. I had been a massage therapist for nearly, at that point in time, about 23 years. And I knew that my body was getting really tired of the use and abuse that I was giving it every single day while I was busy taking care of other bodies. And when that little bottle of deep blue landed in my hand, I knew that I had my hands on something different. And I'll spare you the story there. But what happened was I ended up transitioning out of my 30-year massage career. And then I was like, well, now do I do with myself? And I started looking at doTERRA as a business. And when I started doing that, it literally changed my life. It allowed me to continue to make a difference in people's lives and helping people to feel better in their bodies, just like I had done for 30 years before that. And it also gave me the time flexibility that I had really enjoyed because I had been self-employed, owned my own business for all those years. And I knew I didn't want to go back to punch a clock. So it continued to give me that time flexibility piece. And then maybe even the most important piece for me was that it connected me to all the different faces that you see here on this Zoom and more. There are hundreds of people on our Good Vibes team, and I would never have met any of those people had it not been for that one little bottle of deep blue oil. So I am absolutely just forever grateful for it because it really has changed my life. And so if you are looking for an additional stream of income, whether it's just an extra $100 that equates to $1,200 a year, or if it's connection with people, if it's community, if it's just wanting to learn how to feel better in your body and using natural tools, this is the place for you. We're glad you're here, and we invite you to explore it further. We also have a financial wellness workshop where we share actually how money is made if you decide to really start a doTERRA business. And then we have an onboarding workshop that really where we hold your hand and we walk you through how to make this business work for you. It's really just been pretty amazing. So you saw Leslie hold up her keychain. I happen to have one of mine right here as well. And those of us who are seasoned oilers, if you will, we always like to get these in the hands of somebody as soon as we can. And if you want to know how to get those, I can tell you right now, it's super, super simple. You just want to host a wellness workshop. You literally can host a workshop like this online, or you can host one in your home, or you can invite 5 people to next Monday night's class, this very same class workshop. You can invite 5 people to that. And if those 5 people come, you will get whoever invited you to invite those people will give you one of these keychains, and they'll put 5 oils in there if 5 people show up. And then for every person above that who comes, you'll get another oil. So that's how you fill the keychain. And you can fill it with the oils of your choice, the oils that maybe fit into those first things that we talked about, whether it was pain and inflammation or sleep or respiratory stuff. You can fill your keychain with the things that you need. So it's super easy to do. It's super easy and to carry with you the keychain. And it also just allows you to help your friends, to help your family, and to help yourself. So we invite you to really consider doing that, whether it be online or in your home. Ideal class size is about 5 if you're having somebody in your home or even online, but ideal size is about 5 because then it gives it a much more personal feel, but the more the merrier. So if you have more than 5 people to invite, please invite them. We welcome everyone to come. And then we're wrapping it up here. So this is a survey that we'd like you to take. And I'm not sure, maybe Bobby or Sarah, can you drop in the chat the link to the survey? There's a link there. You can also take a screenshot, or if you've got this on your computer, take your phone and scan that QR code. It will take you right to a really short survey. But that survey really helps us, whoever invited you, it helps us help you. So if you would take it just a few minutes to fill out that survey, we'd really, really appreciate it. And we will get that. And whoever invited you will be following up with you to help answer your questions or to help show you what different solutions that you might be able to use to help you with whatever your challenges are. Excuse me. So go ahead and fill that out. Thanks, Bobby. Go ahead and fill that out. And when you're finished, then if you would please, just drop a done in the chat, and that'll just let me know that, or let us know that we can move on to the next thing. But in the meantime, while you're filling that out, I really do want you to think about who you can help or how you can help yourself in getting the information that you need, because it's really not hard. It can seem overwhelming at first when we talk about oils and we talk about supplements and do all the things, but it's really not hard. Every single one of us that's here that has invited you here can help you. So I encourage you to lean in to trying to find some natural solutions to support you. All right, we're going to move on to our giveaway. I'm not sure who's doing the wheel. I don't know if it's Bobby or if it's Sarah, but we have the giveaway that I was telling you about. So if you're still here, your name is on the wheel. And I don't know, again, whether it's Bobby or Sarah that's doing the wheel. So whichever one of you it is, go ahead and take it away.
I am working on it still. Sorry, I'm hurrying.
Well,
worries.
I have it, Sarah, so it doesn't make any difference.
Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
But I do want to say one thing, you guys. I'm kind of unique in the fact that I have a retail store, so people come in daily and ask questions. And if you are one of those that you go, oh my gosh, I've got this and this and this and this and this and this and this to work on, just pick 3 things, write it down, and start with one place. Don't feel like you've got to tackle everything all at once. And so I just encourage people to, keep a journal, write down different things that you're working on, and then get with the person that invited you and just start with one thing. So, Sarah, are you good? You want me to spin my wheel?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I'm spinning. Do you have the drum roll? And I tell you what, my wheel landed on Sarah S22, and I do not have a name on her. Sarah, congratulations. Now, I invited a Sarah, but I don't know if this is the Sarah that I invited. So somehow, if you're still here, you might just say, it's me, it's me, it's me. Send us your mailing address and who invited you. Is that the way I'm supposed to do that, you guys? We don't have a name on Sarah S22.
I'm trying to unmute her right now.
But it was a fabulous class, you guys.
Yeah, she was on. She is on. She just can't unmute, but her name is Sarah without an H.
Oh, I am. Oh, I'm here. Can you hear
And,
me?
and Sarah, yes, I
don't
can
know
hear
what
you.
I'm doing.
Okay, so you want to
I don't know what I'm doing.
send me your mailing address or your email.
Okay, well, I can't see on the survey because I can't see the survey things. I don't have
The link to the survey.
yeah, it doesn't have the chat thing at the bottom anymore.
Okay, so you're kind of bleeping out
Just
here. Can you tell us your
Uh-oh.
last name and where you're from?
Sarah, if you can, Sarah, can you just, maybe it'd be easier, just drop in the chat who invited you and your email address, and then they can get back to you.
Yeah.
The chat won't show up in any of the recordings, so you don't have to worry about your email address going out to everybody. But if you could just comment who invited you and your email address, then they can get a hold of you and make it happen so that you get these great gifts. She might be, the way she was cutting in and out, maybe we've just lost her too. I don't know. Does anybody know who Sarah? Oh yeah, you're totally cutting out, Sarah. So if you can drop it into the chat, that would be really, really helpful.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on.
It won't.
Okay, tell you what, Sarah, I'm going to drop my email into the chat, and you can email me whenever you get to wherever you are, and I'll make sure that you get that. Hang on one second here, and I'll drop it into the chat. And that way this dilemma will be solved. Okay, so hopefully, Sarah, you can see that, screenshot that, and then just send me an email when you get to wherever you can do it, and I'll make sure that you get the ebooks. Okay, so hopefully she can screenshot that. If not, then we just need to find out who Sarah belonged to, who invited her here. So we want to thank you for being with us tonight. We did better as far as staying on track. This last little bit took us off just a little bit, but we were under the hour until that. So I just want to tell you, thank you. Thank you for joining, everybody. We really appreciate you guys being here, taking the time to be here, and taking the time to learn, because that's the important thing. If we continue to learn and grow, then we can continue to share and do better and bring more goodness to the world. So thanks for taking the time to be here to learn more tonight. This little QR code that's on your screen right now, if you, again, can screenshot that and then use your phone to click on it, take a picture of it to click on it. This little QR code is loaded with all the information that you need to get hooked into every single thing that our group does. So we have a Monday night workshop every Monday night at 5:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central, and 8:30 Eastern time. Every single Monday, you can be here in this same Zoom room. On Tuesday nights, same time, going through the time zones, but same time, there's continuing education, and we have 8 different workshops that we teach to help you learn more about what doTERRA has to offer and all the great natural products that doTERRA can offer you. And then on Wednesday night, we have what is called Table Talks, and it is unrecorded. It's like you go to the same link, same Zoom room, you go, you sit down, it's like you're sitting at someone's kitchen table, and you can have an open conversation. You don't have to worry about it being recorded. You can ask your questions and you can get all the answers that you need. It's really, really a great workshop, and it allows you, like I said, to speak more freely without worrying about being recorded. So it's also a great one to plug into. And then also, let's see, we don't have the phone number there. Does anybody have the phone number so that they can text and get the information on, like, get the text alerts and all of that? If you do, could you drop that in? We do have that as well, but I don't know if anybody has that up so they can drop it in there right now. Doesn't look like the chat is popping. So just know that there is that, so you can always reach out and ask your question. And if you are already a part of our Good Vibes team, then you're in the Good Vibes group on Facebook, and you can always ask the phone number there, and then you'll be directed to how you can get those alerts, those text alerts, so that you can always stay tuned in and connected to what we're doing. All right, everybody, that's it. That's what we have for you tonight. I'm not sure what tomorrow night's continuing education is. It is class number 4. I kind of think it might be women's health and hormones. And Leslie's given me a nod. So yeah, I think it is. All right, perfect. Perfect. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks everybody for joining.